This is a sif over here about Hatmona. Incidentally, last time there was a discussion what's called Hatmona. If you have to cover the pot also or not.
The cover of the pot.
I want you to know you don't have to cover. Hatmona means that the sides of the pot are covered all around. You don't have to cover the top also. There's the cover of the pot is there, but you don't have to put the cover.
So the cover of the pot is considered hatmana?
No.
Is part of the hatmana?
No, that's the pot. That's the keli.
That has nothing to do with it. But it's enough, hatmana is enough, just the walls should be covered.
The walls have to be covered. Not all the rive of the walls have to be covered.
So if you're covering the pot like this with a towel, as long as it's not touching the thing, that's okay.
Right.
But if you wrap the towel this way around it,
right, it would be
that's hatmana.
I saw the Rabbi, I just saw, what's his name?
Havlin.
Who?
Havlin?
No. Havlin. The one who made the Sefer on Tara.
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
Farkash, yeah.
Farkash made a Sefer on Shabbos. On Shabbos. Something along the same style. So he brings over there an interesting thing. If you take a mushroom, let's say, we spoke about if you take a kishke, okay, and you wrap it in aluminum foil, and you put it into the pot of the chon,
you have to cut it.
That's called hatmana. So what you have to do, you have to make a slit in it that it shouldn't be completely covered. He says, what happens if you take a mushroom, the roll of kishke, you don't put it into the chon, but you put it on the blech. What do? You wrap it in aluminum foil. Many times when people wrap, they wrap a few times, or a double wrap. A double wrap will be, it's a hatmana.
It's called hatmana.
It's called hatmana. The second wrap makes it hatmana. So if you're wrapping something, and you're putting it on or sometimes a kugel, people, if you're wrapping it, and you wrap it more than once, so that's hatmana already. Interesting thing. So
but if you take a kishka the way it is and the plastic that it comes in.
Yeah, is the kishka itself, I don't think the kishka is just a holder that it shouldn't fall apart.
So that's not considered hatmana?
No.
Only if you wrap it in something, or if you make your own and you wrap it in something.
No, if you double wrap it.
Usually if you're rolling it yourself, you double wrap it.
Right.
So single wrap kishka in a silver foil is fine?
Not in a chon.
Not in the chon.
No, because the pot is also a קיצור. It's a double קיצור.
So where is it fine?
He said if you took a regular one with the plastic bag that it comes in, you put it into the chon, that's not a problem.
Let's say you take a piece of kugel. Okay? Let's say you take a piece of kugel.
You put it in the chon?
Not in the chon. And you wrap it with aluminum foil. If you wrap it 2 times, the second time is already hatmana.
If you want to put
The first wrap is the keli. The second wrap is the hatmana. So
but the initial plastic one, the way it is, if you clip it close and you put it in the charet,
I don't think that. I think that's just the holder. It's not even a keli. It's a piece of plastic.
When you're putting the kishka in the chon before Shabbos starts, the same thing applies.
They're gonna have to do it. It's in a double ma'aser hevel. It's cooking before hatmana is before Shabbos in a double ma'aser hevel. So he says over here, say, b'Shabbos also lahatman b'shum davar v'afilu b'davar she'eina ma'aser hevel. Before we were talking about when you're cooking before Shabbos. So you're putting it on the blech, or you're putting it into the stove. Now he said if you have a pot and you want it should retain its heat, so that you're not allowed to even b'davar she'eina ma'aser hevel. Lochen, therefore, im noitel kedeira, if he takes a pot, sheyesh bo tafshol, shenez bashol bo, in it there's a tafshol bashol, oisha nischamen bo, or it was warmed in it, also L'kocho oy v'chasoiso b'bgodim u'kesosos u'kedayma lishma chuma. They say that in Shabbos you can't
On Shabbos.
on Shabbos. Now there's an interesting diak over here. He says over here, kegoin im noitel kedayro sheyesh ba tafshul.
That he cooked in.
And he says, "Shin is bashal bo." What is it?
The initial pot that it was cooked in.
Oh, that if you change pot from the initial pot, then you're allowed to do it.
That's
What-
why he says you don't have to cook it, but then he says,
That's what he says.
even if you warmed it in it.
He
it's
said
warm.
you took a kedera, shen is bashal bo, that it was cooked in it. If it was taken out of it and it was put over it another pot, and then you want to wrap that other pot, that's not the issue of atmona. But if it's the kedera, shen is bashal bo, then that's the issue of kedera.
So clay sheni means you don't have to worry about that.
Right.
There's no clay sheni.
Right.
What's the difference in the second?
Because the original pot
It's
holds
not-
a certain
yeah,
category.
Right.
Clay
Okay.
rishon is always a clay rishon, even if it cools down a little bit, it's still considered a clay rishon.
Let's see now the second sieve. The second sieve, I'm learning it, but I don't think it really applies much in practical today. But let's learn what it says over here. It says as follows: Dava sheyevshel kol l'achol b'li hadachon. A thing that you have to rinse it. What he means over here is that he gives an example of a herring, of a fish. Now, you know, when you buy herring today, it's not the way the herring used to look in the olden days. In the olden days, they had a barrel,
Full of salt.
and the barrel was full of salt and brine and other things, and the herring was laying in that. It was like a gooey type of liquid that wrapped it. So when you bought the herring, they would take it out from the barrel, and they would wrap it for you usually in yesterday's newspaper. They would wrap it. Sometimes if the store was more careful, so they put down a piece of white paper, and then they wrapped it with a newspaper around it, and you took it home, and then you had to wash it off. You couldn't serve it as you had to wash off that brine and everything, and so you had to wash it. So that's what he's talking about. I was once talking with someone that did something that would maybe be illegal, you know. And I said to him, "You're not afraid that you'll be in the newspaper?" So he says to me, Rabbi Bogomilsky says, "My mother used to say in Yiddish, in nächtige Zeiten wickelt mich Schmalzeitung." In other words, they'll be in the newspaper, so they'll have papers to wrap Schmalzeitung with, you know. But so he's saying now as follows: Dover thing, she'i efsha kral v'ochel b'li hadachon. You can't take that
Like this
herring
herring.
just from the barrel and take a slice of it needed. It's too sharp. You can't do it. Also, ladicha b'Shabbos afilu b'tzaynim. In other, usually it's not the Indian of bishul. If it was of Shiloh bishul, so then you have a difference between tzaynim and chamim. But over here, he said even to rinse it in cold water, you're also not allowed to.
What's the reason?
The reason because it's like finishing the.
So makab patish?
Yeah, so it's like the finish of the making the product ready to eat. The dog maruach,
Herring.
but he says a herring. Dog maruach means a salty fish. Mutter l'shoyse b'mayim tzaynim, l'fi shegam kaidem hashriya roy l'achila. I mean, I gave you an idea, like with the barrel, with the herring. It wasn't so bad. The herring, there were some people that liked that herring juice, you know, that it came in. I mean, they didn't want to wash it off. So it's good, but he's talking about other things that are so sharp that
You
you
wouldn't be able
must.
to do without it.
you-
It says
you
EF
can't-
sham.
Yeah, that's in. You can't. Okay, now we'll go to the next sim. The next sim says as follows:
See if we
Chaldol v'chazeres. Now, chaldol chazeres means mustard, and chazeres means type of grain. In other words, what we call like
Horseradish.
the horseradish, what we grind for Pesach, you know. Usham mini tibulim and other kind of dips. Shreinosam behem chaimes mebayayim. Now, how do they, when you make the dip, so people put in vinegar in it, you know, to give it some taste. Also, Litan Bahem B'Shabbos, Ela B'Shinu. In other words, you're allowed to make it in Shabbos, but if you make it, it has to be with a shinu. What does a shinu mean? Normally when you make a dip, let's say you grind whatever it is, and then you put in the liquids and you mix it together. So he's saying over here, you should do it b'shinu. What does it mean b'shinu? He says, the hainu sheyitnu tchila es hachaimetz, the kli, first put in the liquid, and then v'achakach yitnu l'teicha es hachadol, or es hachazeres. And then after I put in the mustard. V'lo yasanu b'lila over. Now, when it comes to kneading, there's two types of kneading. L'moshe, when you make bread is called belila ova. It's a thick dough. When you make l'moshe other like cakes or what, so it's a liquidy dough. So it's called belila raka, a soft dough. So he says, so you shouldn't make it very tight, very stiff. It shouldn't. It says, "V'lo yasana b'lila over, ela yishpa chaimetz haber, kidei in order shetahei b'lilosei daka." Because there's one of the malachos of Shabbos is known as losh. Lamed Shin, losh. Losh means kneading. So he said, if you're making it a stiff dough, so that becomes like losh. That's in of losh. V'chein lo ya'arbe bekaf ukedaime ela be'etzboi. You know, use your finger to mix it. I don't know today how popular that is. Oisha yinanei bekli. So just shake it with the keli. This is now. This b'chal, these dinim. There's a difference also in din if you're doing it right before the meal, or you're doing it, let's say, like you're preparing it for the meal that's going to be in a few hours around. So that's where it comes enough kamina. That there's a shayla also by the same shayla comes by Pesach, when it comes out the Seder Shabbos, so there's a shayla with the salt water. So some state you should be prepared before Pesach, but there's a machlokas. The Alter Rebbe's makel on it. The Alter Rebbe said about it's a little bit, so you got to do it even by the Seder. Others hold you not allowed to. They hold that you have to put in the water and some of it be for kettle, but put in first the salt and then put in the water. You know, it should be a shinu. Peides shenimso tachas ilon. If you go out in the field, people used to have in their backyard, they had a fruit tree. So if you go out and you see there's some apples on the ground over there, so asurim afilu betiltel, the dinner they're considered muktzah. Now muktzah is the is of muktzah is tiltel, is moving. Like people ask many times, are allowed to sit on a car on Shabbos? So if you sit on a car on Shabbos, you're not going to move the car. The car's not going to move. So that could be you're allowed to. But the muscle to touch something, there's no issue to touch it. This is to move it. Shema nafla hayom could be they fell down today, and v'mele the muktzah, because the din by muktzah, we have muktzah is established by ben hashmoshes. Anything that by ben hashmoshes you couldn't use it,